All right. I covered part of what I'm going to cover now in the previous tutorial segment. This is a time when we have some decisions to make. This is right after we buy our Morning Star, okay? I know I talked about this before, but it's really critical because this is that time of the game when you have to make decisions. Like, it doesn't matter really what decision you make, but you have to make the right one based on your circumstances. So understanding the layout, understanding what is going on, what your next steps are, all of that stuff. Understanding all of that is going to be instrumental in your decision-making process over these next couple of steps here. In this scenario, now I have this from a save state, so this is not really reasonable. Let me make this a little more reasonable. Okay, this is reasonable. Okay. So in this particular case, I'm on my second life. I'm on my second life. I have half health. Now, to me, if I'm on my second life and I have half health, this tells me that I'm good to go. I don't need to take any intentional deaths here. But if I am on my last life, or if I am very low on my second life, like 2 or 3 pips, I'm going to go ahead and take that intentional death here. And take the intentional game over. And the reason is because you're going to have to take, at a minimum, 1 more death before you are able to purchase your next oak steak in Laruba. Okay, you're going to have to take it. You're going to take a minimum of 1 more death, but it's more than likely you'll end up taking 2. So if you take the death in the swamp, which is ideal, and at the island in the swamp, and then you have to get across the rest of the swamp, you're going to use almost all of your health bar to get across to Laruba. So you're going to get to Laruba with 4 or 5 pips of health, and you have to use that on your last life all the way through the mansion before you get the last oak steak, and then you can die peacefully and then move on. But that's a good challenge, and that is the ideal way to run this strat. So here we are in Ondol with the Morning Star, and we have half health, and we are going to go on this, hoping to have enough health to get us to the island in the swamp where we can take a death and then start from the island and work our way to Laruba from there on our last life. That's ideal. Now, this may seem like a simple thing, but here's the problem. If you are on your last life and you leave here, by the time you die at the middle of the swamp, you will go back to 0 hearts. You will have no hearts. And you're going to need 50 hearts at a minimum. Even if you're not doing golden knife strats on Carmilla, you're still going to need 50 hearts to buy an oak steak in Laruba. Ideally, you want to have 62 hearts. That's ideal. But if you don't take a death here, if you don't game over here, then all the hearts you collect between here and the island in the swamp are all going to go away, because when you game over, your hearts go back to 0. So that's why this is important. Now, if you don't mind grinding for an extra 45 seconds to a minute in Laruba, just killing skeletons with the flame whip to get hearts, then that's fine. But when you start speedrunning this game, that is unideal. That is suboptimal. So what we want to focus on right now is this decision-making process. As it sits right now, I have 1 life in the tank and I have half health. So to me, this is an immediate green light. We are good to go to the next portion. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to turn on the game audio so you guys can hear it. And we're going to go ahead and play this section, okay? Let's set a save state right here. So we're going to play this section as normal. We had 12 hearts to start. We just got 8 more, so that's 20, 26, 34. We have 40 hearts right now, which is stupid. You only need 50 to buy the oak steak and another 12 to use the golden knife strats on Carmilla. So we took no damage in those screens, which you should never take damage in those screens. Those are easy screens, especially in the daytime. We'll go ahead and take this tornado. Now remember, we're going to keep a close eye on that health bar, because that health bar needs to last us all the way to the island in the swamp. So that's where we're heading right now. And during the last portion of this tutorial, we covered this portion all the way to the flame whip, but it's important that that we go through this section here because I want to sort of walk you guys through why we make the decisions we make. So this is an ideal setup. We have half health and 1 life in the tank. And we're in great shape. We have plenty of hearts. Morningstar getting ready to get our flame whip. It's kind of a shame because Morningstar is my favorite whip in the game. But you only have it for about a minute and a half. Okay. So we're going to talk about this more in the next portion of the tutorial. I'm not really going to go over this right now, but I just want to get us to Laruba so you can see why we make this decision. That's all. I'm going to talk more about why we do this screen this way. It's very important that we do this screen properly. Watch our health. We just took a damage boost, and that's okay. We got to keep an eye on that health. Oh, that's not good at all. So I'm down to 4 pips of health now, so I can't really take any more damage boosts. I need to really kill everything I come across here. Okay, now we have to get through this first portion of this swamp all the way to this little island. Once we get to the little island, we take our death right there and everything's great. Now we're on our last life and we're ready to go, okay? So now what we'll do here, since this is our last life, we got plenty of hearts, we have to get all the way across this swamp going that way, or whatever way. That way. My camera's backwards. We got to get all the way over there, and when we get there, we're going to have either 4 or 5 pips of health here. And I'm going to cover this a lot more in detail in the next section, but I think it's really important that we understand how we make these decisions in Ondol. So here we go. This is our last life. Oh shit, I didn't want to take that hit. That's not good at all. So that's a problem. So we've got to get through here. So we took that hit. That's going to hurt us pretty bad because now we're down to 3 pips of health, which is not good going into Laruba. Because now we got to run through this whole mansion. Now we just took another hit because we were not paying attention. We got to run through this whole mansion on these now 2 pips of health, right? So we can get our oak stake. Now this is where it's challenging, right? Because you got to know this mansion pretty well and be very careful. Now this is not a difficult mansion, especially with Flame Whip. It's a pretty simple mansion. There's nothing really difficult about it. You're very safe in this mansion. If you know the inputs, there's not a ton of RNG here. But you have to be careful if this is your last life. Even if you want to take these, just take extra time to chill. We're going to cover all of this stuff in the tutorial coming up next. All this will be covered, I promise. But we have 2 pips of health and we have to get through this whole section here. Oh, that was so lucky. We could have died right there. We got to get through this whole section without dying. And we have plenty of hearts now because we have enough hearts to kill Carmilla and we have enough hearts to buy the next oak stake. So come through here. We're going to use this oak stake on this orb. And again, I'm just walking you through this one time here so that you can see why we make the decisions. This is what you're going to experience. This is what you're going to experience flat out at the end of this game. And we'll cover this in the tutorial too, how to get this stun lock and keep it. It's a really, really easy way to kill her. But all of this has to be done. If you make this decision to run without a game over, this is what you're going to be experiencing. You're going to have to go through and kill all these enemies and not die with very little life. Just make sure. I think we have enough. I just want to make sure. Yeah, 62 hearts. We're good. So we have 2 pips of health left right now. And so now we're good. Now we can take this game over. But if we had taken one more big hit from something, we would have been dead in the water. We would not have been able to buy the oak steak, and our speed run would be over, essentially. So now we're going to talk more about this section later. But oh shit, we got to level up. That's crazy. That generally won't happen. We just killed a lot of shit. Okay. So anyway, that's what you have to deal with moving through that mansion. Okay. And moving through this section, if you decide to roll with the life you got 1 life in the tank, you got a half a life, that you got to get through all of that without dying to get to that oak steak. That's what you got to deal with. Now, let's say this is your scenario when you get Morningstar. I might still try it, but I am really good at this game. It's a challenge. You can do it, absolutely, but it's going to mean no damage boost. You got to know where everything is coming from, because you're going to need all this health to get across that middle swamp. So you can't even take that initial damage boost coming out of the flame whip, the lower road. So at this scenario right here, I might be tempted to take 2 deaths, but I would probably roll with 4. But if it's less than 4, you obviously going to want to take your game over. If you take your game over, it sucks because 2 things. 1, you're losing whatever hearts you have left. Right now we have 12 hearts. So if you take a game over, you lose those 12. But it's better than losing it's better to lose the 12 now than to lose 40 because you took a game over later before you got the thing. So you lose the 12 now, it saves you losing 40. Also, it takes a little bit of time. Now there's a way you can save time here by doing this guy right here. So, no, not that. Not that. Let's try it. So let's say we're going to decide to take a game over, okay? You can floor drop into the water here. If you remember the floor drop technique, forward and then whip right after you start falling, one frame after. You can floor drop into the water and it actually saves time. So this is what it sounds like naturally. It takes a long time, right? Here's what it sounds like when you floor drop. Hopefully I don't fuck it up. Nope, I fucked it up. Here's what it sounds like when you floor drop. Nope, fucked it up again. Come on now. Okay, I can't floor drop now, I guess. There we go. That's what it does when you floor drop. It cuts that whole thing short. Like that. So floor dropping into the water to take a game over is great. So okay. So now we start with 3 full lives and 0 hearts. Now the heart acquisition becomes much more important. We got to really count. There's 4, 10. So we got 10 coming out of this screen. So we have full lives now, so we're really not concerned about lives because we're going to get to Laruba with a life to spare, which is vastly different than what we experienced with the full balls out run. The full balls out run saves a ton of time, and it saves a ton of time, and it's the way to conserve hearts and not have to do any heart grinding. But doing it this way, if you just take those extra 5 or 6 seconds to do the game over, and then know that you're going to have to collect more hearts on the way. You don't have to go out of your way to collect hearts. You can get the 50 pretty easily without having to go out of your way to collect hearts. But just knowing that, hey, I'm trading safety and the ability to not have to die in Laruba and lose my whole run. I'm trading that for the fact that I may have to pick up a couple extra hearts along the way and hope to get a little bit of better luck. It makes perfect sense if you're low on health on your second life, or if you're on your last life. That's when you absolutely want to take that game over and start fresh. So right now we haven't taken a single hit. We have a full set of lives, a full health bar. Right now we are feeling invincible at the moment. Right? So we're going to do this thing. Take 1 hit there. That's a damage boost. Now we can take damage boost now. So damage boosting actually saves us time as well because we have plenty of health. That was not a damage boost. Damage boost would be something like this, this, and this. And then you can take the damage boost on this guy right here. Boom. Now here's the deal. We're going to die right here. So if you just duck down right next to that guy, no matter how much life you have left, he'll kill you. Here's the deal. Let me kill this guy. So now here's the scenario. We have 2 full lives now. We've just gotten to this island. We want to take, no matter what, take that death. Unless it's your last life. If it's your last life and you managed your lives improperly, then that's on you. Obviously, don't take the death intentionally if it's your last life. But if it's not your last life, you need to take the death here no matter what. Because you're probably not going to make it all the way across. Like, if you didn't have... It can be done, but you got to do a lot of jumping. And when jumping in the swamp, if you jump constantly, then it won't hurt you as badly. But it takes a ton of time, and it'll kill a speed run if you don't have enough, if you have not managed your lives and your health properly. So when we get here, you want to have fresh health. You want to have a full fresh health bar going to Laruba, because when we get there, again, we're going to have 4 or 5 pips of health. Now we have a life in reserve, which means we're going to be able to get through Laruba no problem. We have a life in reserve. We're set. But you definitely don't want to die while you're in the swamp, because then you got to start back here again. So what we're going to do is we're going to do something. We're going to switch to rib here because there is a cool thing you can do. We'll switch over to the knife here. So here's what that would look like. So we'll start walking. There's a guy, a mudman right here, that if you're wearing the rib, you can actually jump in the midair and his fireballs won't hit you. See what I'm saying? Anyway, so we're going to get over here. We're going to have, looks like 5 pips of health. So we have 5 now. So we have 5 here and an extra life, which we didn't have in the last scenario, if you recall. So now we're not worried about losing our run. We just need to make sure we know how many hearts we have, and we need to be careful. And we can actually do fast strats here, so you can try dash jumps on the block downstairs or whatever. But we need to make sure where we're at for hearts, because we are probably going to have to farm some hearts in here. Because we did not leave with those 12, we're currently sitting at 22 hearts. So we still need 28 more hearts just to buy the oak steak, not including any of the stuff for Camilla. So we're going to kill everything in our path right now. We're not going to go out of our way to kill anything, but we need hearts. So this is going to slow us down a little bit, killing everything, but it's got to be done because we need the hearts, and we're not getting any heart drops at all. We didn't get any heart drops in that whole room. That's terrible. And again, we're going to cover all this tech in the next scenario, or in the next tutorial installment. But for now, I'm just going to run through this so you can see. We can actually do some fancier stuff, like we can try to do a dash jump here. And if we don't get it, no worries. I didn't get the dash jump, but I tried. And then here, so now we're in a position where, and this is a good thing for us to see, is that we're not going to be able to use golden knives on Carmella, because we need those knives for the oak steak. Now you can do it here and then just grind later, but it'll kill your speedrun time if you're speedrunning the game. So now we need 1 more oak steak. So we're not going to be able to use oak steak or golden knife on Carmella. I missed all those. You need to get good at this technique here. I need to get better at this technique, but this is a technique you need to be familiar with. First of all, it's the easiest way to kill Dracula, and it's the easiest way to kill Carmella there, if you don't have golden knife. But essentially, what it is just, it's a roll. So it's, all you're doing is rolling your finger and then hitting the B. That's it. You can do it with 2 fingers if you want. And that's how you get the 2 whips at once. Practice that. Should practice it. Anyway, so we need a shit ton of hearts, and we don't have any. So we're going to be killing everything again. Still no heart drops. No heart drops. This has been a very bullshit Laruba for hearts. duck. And we'll get this guy. We'll got to get his heart, hopefully. Good. We'll take it. So we're going to have to kill this guy on the stairs, and then we'll have to do a little bit of a grind. And this is not a fun grind here. This is a shitty grind. So we need 2 more hearts. So I just go off here and I come kill this guy. There's 1. We need 1 more drop. Never count on that asshole to the right. He never drops 1 if you need it. If you don't need a heart, he'll drop it every time. But if you do need it, he won't. So there we go. Now we have enough. So let's go buy this thing. And then once again, we're in a position to get out of here with an extra life in tow. Now, there's some other stuff we're going to talk about in the tutorial that's coming up for Laruba, about how to exit here, how to use your lives, when to use your laurels, and whether you want a game over or take a death before you go back across the swamp. There's shit we're going to talk about there. But for now, we're really on this decision-making process. So keep that stuff in mind. When you're making your decision, just realize that as long as you know how many lives you have, where you're at on your health, and you understand the implications of either going for it all the way or taking a game over for safety and losing a little bit of time, and really, sometimes it's not even that much time, but it can save your run. If you're down on your last life and you don't take a game over here, you're wasting your run. Your run is shot. You have made a stupid decision and lost your run because you didn't think that, hey, I'm on my last life. I can't make it to Laruba and buy that other steak on this life. Since I know that, let me go ahead and restart my heart count and start collecting hearts from here all the way, because everything you collect from here to Laruba you're going to keep unless you game over between here and there. So that's the most important thing I wanted to share with you for this. Think about this stuff. I know that I've gone over this a bunch of times and it may seem ridiculous, but between Brahms Mansion and Ondol, this is the biggest pivot point in the whole game. This is the center point of the game. This is like the meat and potatoes. Everything leading up to it leads to this moment. Brahms and Ondol. Brahms and Ondol. That's it. This is the middle portion. This is what sets you up whether you're going to PB or not. This is where you make the right decisions and the wrong decisions that can kill your runs. So I know we covered a lot. May not seem that important to you, but as you run the game more, you'll realize how important decision making is, knowing exactly what you're capable of, how much life you have to lose, your knowledge of each individual screen and whether you can get through it damageless or not, and keeping track of where you're at on time, and how all of that sort of plays together, how all of that sort of weaves together into a tapestry. But it's all part of the run, and the more you know it, the more you understand the concepts and the premises, the better speedrunner you will be of this game. So anyway, sorry I took so long talking about something so simple. I just think it's important enough to give it its own video. Next video will be Flame Whip to Laruba. That's going to be a fun video. I've been waiting for that. There's some cool input stuff I wanted to share with you guys. I've seen some folks that are relatively new to running the game making some similar mistakes over and over again, and I think we can clean a lot of that up and get better at it. So I'm looking forward to this next tutorial. Stick around, don't go anywhere, or if you do go somewhere, just come on back. We'll have this other tutorial uploaded very soon. I thank you very much for your time, and enjoy your CV2. We'll be back for the next one.